So my camera died while I was trying to film cranking this car. Had a couple of bulbs burn out on the dash. I can fix that. Holding steady. Fuel pressure. Vacuum's holding good. Water temp's not come up much yet, but that's to be expected. Got good flow in the radiator though. You can see that. Stinks because it's got a leak in it. That's why it sounds like it does. Which, if you don't watch it, Five Finger Death Punch is some really cool music, and they got some really awesome videos. This is House of the Rising Sun, by the way. So they do a little like Mad Max Fury Road theme on this. It's one of my favorite videos there. Anyway, the 93 Cobra Project Overhaulin here, where we're doing the revival, if you will. I've removed the supercharger belt and the serpentine belt that was on here, and I've got those over here, and I've got the fuel injectors here bagged up from Melvin. Just to show you how dirty they are. I want to get a new set of O-rings top and bottom. You don't want to run the risk of having O-rings that have split, because they can have a major fuel leak and cause a fire. A good friend of the shop's had that happen and burn up his 5.0 Mustang. And so you definitely don't want to run the risk of an injector not seating properly and having an issue. So I'm definitely going to put new O-rings on these. You can see how nasty they are. We're going to clean these up, and I'm going to have Melvin check them to see if they're dirty, if they're flowing properly before we put them back in. These are green top 42-pound injectors is what they look like that the car has. And then down here is the intake manifold. This is the Vortec tensioner pulley. See the groove in it here? I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's not exactly smooth there. It's got a groove cut into it. And then we're going to get him to clean the injectors and clean them all up inside and out. And then the intake manifold, I'm going to take it to him. We're going to have to smoke test it, see if we can find that crack, why it's leaking oil right up under the bottom. But basically it's leaking oil. When you're looking at it, it was a puddle right down here, so it's leaking right here in the middle. And if you looked at that one injector, it was full of oil where the connector went onto it. So not only would that short out the injector, but you'd have a dead cylinder. So with a supercharged car, it's very important to have all the injectors firing properly. If you don't have one firing on that cylinder, it's going to run super lean. Okay, so this is car number 596 out of 4,993 that were built in 1993. So it is now Thursday evening, a little after 5:30, and yesterday I was able to take the Cobra intake to Melvin. He was surprised because he doesn't watch my videos. He said after the first one he wasn't watching anymore. I won't tell you exactly what he said, but he did not realize he was getting videoed, which is the best kind, because you want people in their raw form. You don't want them made up and have a script and try to act all prim and proper. You want them when they're real, natural state, right? But like I said in the video, the plumber's house probably has the most leaks. The mechanic's house probably has the most problems. Well, it's the same damn thing. The guy who works on cars for a living and builds motors for everybody that comes out of Fastlane Motorsports, doesn't have to work on his own stuff. And that's clearly the case in this. So he's like, man, you made me look bad. I said, no, I didn't. It just shows you are super busy, man. And when you come home, you just don't have time working your own stuff, which is hence why I'm going to work on your car for you. So it is just funny. You know how people are. And I'm not gonna say old people, but I might say old people, but hell, I'm in that boat too now. So anyway, it was just funny. And I showed him, he's, why'd you pull the intake off? I said, well, did you see the video? Oh no, you didn't look at it. I said, well, there's a puddle of oil under your intake, and your intake's probably cracked. And look at this belt. And by the way, that tensioner pulley was not hot rodded to give it more traction. It was just worn like that. And we laughed about it because Vortec used to give you this really nice aluminum style pulley that pushed down on the belt, and now they give you a plastic one. So go figure, over the years they got away from that. And check it out. Yeah, not only is it new, but I want you to look on the inside of this. Sure you can see that. It's actually got a liner in it, and it's got those O-rings on it, so when it goes on, it makes a nice snap connection. So that's gonna be really cool stuff here. So we're gonna pop this on, and that's gonna solve the problem with the hose. I just didn't like the way it looked, and this actually says Continental on it, and it is a 5/16 fuel injection style hose. This isn't just your regular run-of-the-mill rubber hose. This is actually the right hose for the car. So I just finished putting the gas tank in this Cobra, and I started thinking, you know what, man, it's been a while since I did that original video on this car, but I'll show you real quick. The gas tank is up in there, it's cleaned up. That new hose I put on it was really nice. I was really impressed with how that all turned out. So I got it up in there, and I came over here to take a break, and I was like, you know what, let me look up that old video. So here's the original video here on my page, and I looked, and if you look down here, it was called Fastlane Motorsports Project 93 Cobra Rescue. It was back August 30th of 2015. So that was actually 7 years ago when I went out and did it. So just to reminisce a little bit, I'm gonna insert that video right here for you to watch. It's only 2 minutes and like 30 seconds, so enjoy really quick. That front when I'm pressing the button, I gave you a little thing. Did a quick clay bar and polish on it back then, and it was inside of his paint room. And unfortunately, like I said before, it's been kind of sitting out in the weather. So you can see it over there. Here it is now. Hadn't really changed much. I don't even think he drove it once or twice since then. We're gonna bring the old girl back to life though. You can bet your ass on that. Alright, so I just finished putting new transmission fluid in the car. I use Royal Purple Synchromax. So you saw me draining the fluid, and you have a drain plug here at the bottom, and you have one right above it. And use a 3/8 ratchet like this, and you just lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. So you loosen it, pull it out the bottom, let everything drain, put it back in, take the one out the top, and that's where you fill it. Now I have this, what they call a Mighty Vac. It's a fluid extractor. So you basically stick this in your bottle, suck the fluid up into this tube, stick the end of that tube up into the hole, and push the fluid in. And it makes it real easy to put the fluid in the car without making a mess. And then you put your catch pan under it, and basically when it gets full, it'll start leaking out of the hole and back down into your pan. So it holds just under 3 quarts of fluid. So what you do is you just keep filling it up till you get to right at 3 quarts or just about, and it'll start flowing back out of the hole. Then you're done, you put your plug in. I always let it drip a little bit just so it settles even. Then you put your plug in, tighten it up. Don't get it too tight, just kind of firm, you know, in there. Yeah, there's probably a torque spec somewhere, but you know, just don't crank it down where you're gonna crack the case. And what I'm doing now is just, I'm getting ready to wipe it all off, spray some brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner, whatever you got, and wipe it all down. And then back here, I've got some new fluid to put in it and friction modifier. So I thought about either one or two things. I can do the same kind of extraction. There's a bolt, where's it at? It's a fill nut. It's right there, and you loosen that, and that's where you fill your fluid. You can also put your extractor and a hose down in here, and you can suck the old fluid out as much as possible, put your new fluid in and your friction modifier, and away you go. Or if you'd like, you can go ahead and pop the cover off and reseal it. Now it looks like this cover is actually not leaking at all, which is phenomenal. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably just gonna suck as much fluid out of it that I can, put in new fluid and friction modifier, and away we go. Because I really don't want to crack this cover off and reseal it if it doesn't need it. It's been off one time when Melvin put 373 gears in here. So there's really no need to take all that back down if we're not doing anything to it. It's fine. I'm just gonna pull the fluid out, put new fluid in it, and I have a way to suck that fluid out without taking the cover off. So I'm probably gonna do that next. Then all the fluids in the differential, transmission, and motor will be changed. And then I gotta drain the radiator. I don't have hoses yet, so I'll do that later.